Hello, I'm Bota Sharipova from Kazakhstan, and I'm here today with Steve Brown from Rotary Foundation, who played a very important role in funding my studies in my master's and also part of my PhD research, which is I am doing now here at IHE Delft Institute for Water Education. And I'm very excited to have this conversation with Steve to understand his motivation of supporting young water professionals from Central Asia in Afghanistan to getting access to education here in Netherlands. I would like to ask you, Steve, as we are coming now from very different perspective, you as the one who funded and me who got the scholarship. So can you tell me what were the activities that you actually funded in the Central Asia and the Aral Sea Basin, and what was motivation behind that?
Yes, I can talk a little bit about how this program came about. So I was a trustee of the Rotary Foundation, and I was tasked with finding a partnership in the area of focus of water and sanitation. So I did that back in 2011. As part of that, I learned of the part of the curriculum where they teach water conflict management. And I also learned from the rector at that time, Andreas, about the challenges of the 7 countries facing conflict issues in the Aral Sea Basin, upstream countries and downstream countries. I shared that with a Rotarian in San Diego who offered to put up some money to help address this issue. And so with this funding, we put together a workshop in 2014, the we being IHE, bringing professionals together from the 7 countries sharing the Aral Sea Basin. Mm-hmm. And from that workshop, you could see friendships forming from these countries that had competing interests. So from that, the idea of forming the 3-university program in water cooperation and diplomacy evolved, with IHE taking the lead in that, and involving University for Peace in Costa Rica and Oregon State. And I worked on the funding side to help provide the funding for the 17 scholars that went through the program over about a 5-year period. And so I was motivated when I saw the opportunity how Rotary could address an issue that needed addressing. So tell me, Bota, how has the scholarship really helped you for where you're at right now and where you're going, and what impact you think it could have in the long run for you as a person?
I would not lie if I tell that it changed my life. Indeed, that happened for me, and I think for others who also studied, because there is no alternative. There is just no possibility from Central Asia to get this kind of education or to find grant to have it. So in that sense, it was a unique opportunity for me. And I think having also students from different countries of Central Asia, from all 6 of them together, it helped me extremely to, expand my understanding of how we look into water conflict. Because in Central Asia, Aral Sea Basin, that there is a high potential for conflict, and then different countries have their own different understanding how water should be used, and water is limited. And then me, all my life, I worked prior to these studies, I worked in Kazakhstan. But however, coming together with my colleagues from Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, of course, that helped me to understand so many different perspectives, and especially in the institute like IHE, also not studying, learning about Aral Sea Basin, but seeing other basins, other countries, other rivers, and how they're being managed. That was a very rich experience. And I think in terms of impact, what I thought for myself, what I decided, that my knowledge that I have and my skills would be the most impactful if I also transfer it to others. If I take part in doing research and education, so teaching others basically. And that's, I think, I see as the most impactful way to influence change of mindsets, especially in Central Asia. And that's why I'm committed really to continue doing that, to teaching in Central Asian universities, working with Central Asian partners. So that's how I see impact.
Excellent. Yes. Sounds like you're on the right track.
I think so too.
Well, Bota, I have another question, more specifically about the Aral Sea Basin and the water management challenges it has. The history there, and things have changed somewhat, I suspect, over the last few years, mostly for the worse, but perhaps some for the better. Can you describe a little more specifically about the existing challenges and how you think they can best be addressed, and particularly with the skill set that the graduates of the program now have?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I can, because I can clearly see the change, the difference, what's happening. Because prior to studying my master's, I was working more than 7 years in water sector. And then I could see that for countries, for technical experts working with water, for engineers, it was very difficult to come together to negotiation table and to negotiate and discuss water related issues. It was more like a fight. Either you get water or I get water. And I think exactly what was lacking in the region was this skills of negotiating peacefully, nicely, with respect, and respecting interests of other countries as well. And that's why exactly this program came in this opportunity came in so timely, and with a very specific, very unique set of knowledge and skills which was needed in the region. And of course, it is difficult to say, okay, this person directly contributed to this positive change, but at the same time, what I can clearly see is that even the language of the negotiations is changing. The style of negotiations, the way how countries of Central Asia now negotiate on water is completely different than it used to be 10 years ago when I was working there. And for that, we can also see that there are a number of bilateral, trilateral agreements and protocols signed last 3-4 years. They are only 1-year protocols, but however, they are a basis. They are start of, I hope, bigger negotiations, which will include all countries of the basin.
Well, I know a key component of the academic program was the negotiating skills, and the technical people tend not to have those.
Yes.
And the politicians tend to not have some skills as well. And so you put the package together with those negotiating skills, you're seeing it now. That's encouraging.
Yeah, exactly. That's I think the beauty, art, but also the challenge of water diplomacy itself is combining technical knowledge with the diplomatic skills, right? And I think here through this education, we could combine these two together.